Episode 70. We've been doing this for 70 straight days. There's always things happening in the news that catch my attention. I've got shiny object syndrome. But we are talking about glyphosate. If you didn't join yesterday, then I kind of set the groundwork for that episode 69. You want to go back and check that out because I don't want to repeat myself. But this is a very salient topic for Saint Croix because I want to show you a map at the end of this 5 minutes and show you how this is happening in our backyard. Now, I don't want to start in a contentious way on this. I want to describe to you, because I was recently years old, as they say, usually say today years old. I was recently years old when I found out exactly what spraying New Brunswick meant. What is the process by which it happens exactly? And yeah, you read articles and you skim, but there's nothing like understanding a topic in order to teach it. And of course, as I am studying to be your MLA on a diversity of topics, especially the 5 things that I want to work on solutions on, glyphosate is one of those. I want to understand what is going on in our forests, in our riding. So how does it start? Well, forest companies, here we go. Forestry companies are granted licensing or lumber supply agreements by the province. Okay, so they get those licenses to harvest lumber on a designated area of Crown land. Now, one thing that's important to understand when we talk about Crown land, because you might think, well, who owns the Crown land? That is very important. Is it the Crown? Well, technically, it is the Crown, but in a Commonwealth country like ours, it does not belong to King Charles. It belongs to the people, and so this is public land. This is our land. This is Indigenous land. This is New Brunswick land, and as such. That means that we have a say over what happens there. We have a representative parliamentary system. And so when we're talking about forestry companies going on to Crown land after they get access to it and lease it, do you have a say in what happens on that land? Well, in the process, the forestry companies might say, well, we've leased it fair and square. And so what they typically do then is they clear cut the area of land that they have been granted that license or lumber supply agreement on. So it is completely clear cut. And the first time that happens, it is of course, a little bit inconvenient. There's different kinds of growth there. There's softwood, there's hardwood, there's shrubbery, and it is a labor for the logging companies to extract what they want. And typically, what they want most of in the market is softwood lumber, spruce and fir and pine and that kind of thing. So now you have a completely clear-cut section of public land and all the wood that went to market to help our provincial economy. Now, again, I want to keep talking about this objectively. I am not anti-industry, and there are arguments for select clear cutting as kind of replicating what forest fires do and kind of purging the land and et cetera, et cetera. So there's the whole clear cutting aspect of this that is a rabbit hole I don't want to get into necessarily right now. The land is clear cut. The forestry companies are legally obligated to replant. Now, glyphosate aside, I would say this is where we could probably have a little bit more teeth on our laws in terms of the replanting, because what the forestry companies want is for the next time that that section of land is licensed out to them, they don't want all that growth. They don't want to go through the trouble that they went through the first time. And so the first thing they do on the land, the clear-cut land area, is to send helicopters and spray the clear-cut area. And so that is glyphosate. It gets onto anything that is growing up that is undesirable. Remember, the companies only want softwood trees growing, and those are typically conifers. So after they spray the land, They will want to have only evergreen trees, and that's why they spray the land with glyphosate. So they spray the land and then they plant the conifers that they want. And so you can imagine what kind of forest is growing up in those clear cut areas. It is only trees and any really kind of growth that is advantageous to the logging companies. And their view is when we go back in again, license that area of land again in X number of years, there will only be the kinds of trees that we want growing there. And so this will happen again and again and again throughout the province. Now, I do want to show you the map. As I said, we're at 5 minutes. Tomorrow, I want to describe exactly how glyphosate does its job, how it works. Again, sticking to the science here. But this is a map of our riding, Saint Croix 36. You can see all the blotches of red at the top left. You can see macadam on the map there. That is the word near the center, kind of the 12 o'clock area of this map. And so between here and macadam is quite a bit of area that has been sprayed. You also see another blotch down by the Dennis Stream Reserve there. And that is, of course, near Rolling Dam, Lawrence Station, and that area. And this is Saint Croix. All those red areas are areas that in 2024 have been given approval for helicopters to go in and spray the glyphosate. Okay, so this is happening in our backyard, the process that I just described, the clear cutting. There is no commitment to, like I say, glyphosate aside, there's no commitment to preserving the diversity of our forests. When you take a forest that is filled with different kinds of species of whether it's flora or fauna, animals or plants, and it is clear cut and then sprayed, and then only one kind of tree is planted, we have a very different landscape, quite literally, in our backyards, literally, over and over and over through the province. Okay, so that's how it works. Now we've set the groundwork of the what is the process, when and how does it get applied. Tomorrow we'll talk about what glyphosate does, and we'll continue this conversation because, as we can see, it changes where we live. Is it beneficial? Is it for our common good? This is what Greens believe, and this is what I am running on. Decisions that we make, whether it's socially or about our environment, need to work for everyone.